Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Monday, February 12th, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, we've seen quite a reversal here in the afternoon on Friday, and now here Monday morning, heading into the open. We've bounced off those Friday lows. This is kind of a double bottom down here, and really it suggests that we are likely trading within this lower distribution of this key range. So before, what I mentioned was we could be trading somewhere in the middle and basing out a little bit, but instead we went down and got that quick double dip much quicker than I thought we would. Remember, I mentioned we would likely come test this LVN in the lower edge at some point in the future, and when it does, it would be a buying opportunity back toward 27.03. That happened much faster than anticipated here. Friday, getting that test and then bouncing by the afternoon. So the expectation here is likely that we come back up toward 27.03 at some point, and we could stay within this range. Again, overall, we formed a large key range, a large impulse move on the way down and bounce back up. And when that happens, it tends to trap price at least for a while, if not for a longer period of time. And again, the edges are very, very important. The most important spot on the chart is down here at this LVN at the lower edge of the range. If we were to drop down below this zone, again, it would be another opportunity to trap and bring it back up. For right now, we've already seen that play out Friday. We could be on the upswing, at least in the short term, back toward 27.03. But the key level to watch right now is going to be 26.40 in the short term. Any failure to hold 26.40 would open up a retest back toward the overnight lows of 26.21.5. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. You can see the NQ actually breached the low, and this was Friday. We talked about prices dropping below those 62s right there, 62.80s, dropping down there and getting into this LVN would provide a bounce opportunity, and that's exactly what happened in this instance. Price dropped down into the LVN. You can see a perfect drop right into that zone and then a bounce back up, closing back above the December FOMC key level, which is currently the low of the day. And so right now, short term, the expectation is that we could continue to bounce back toward the midpoint of the impulse move, which is 66.53s. Keep an eye on that area. So any failure to hold basically 64.50 today in the short term could open up a rotation back towards 6400, perhaps a little lower, but overall, staying above that zone suggests more upside to the midpoint of the key range. Let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil had a significant decline Friday and over the last portion of last week. We talked about 63s being very, very important. Given the trend and given the defenses here, I mentioned that any defense here or rejection would be a good buy opportunity, but a failure to hold 63s, 62.50 would open up a move back toward 58.75, and we got that. And again, that's based off of market structure. A failure to hold a key support level would run it back to the next key level below, and that's exactly what happened. That was a solid move there of about 4 handles when it was all said and done. And again, very clear targets based off of market structure. Right now, what we're seeing is an initial test back above the previous session's highs. The previous session's highs was 60.77, today 60.83, and we're seeing a minor little rejection of those highs, price pulling back a little bit. Again, anytime you come into this type of level, there's a tendency to bounce back toward that area of support that was broken, and then perhaps you could see some development like this. So if prices can stay above 59s, 58.75, we could be headed back towards 63s. In the short term, and if that's the case, it could be headed right back down. But keep an eye on 60.77 here, because any failure to get back above that zone could be a failed new high that leads to another round of weakness back toward 56.83. So right now, watching 60 evens. Failure to hold 60 evens starts to rotate this thing back down toward recent support. Taking a look at gold futures right now, we have a failed new high in effect with a sell signal at the moment. This is about as bearish as it gets at times. Whenever you're having a push through resistance, this is 2-day highs, and then you fail to see a continuation and instead you reject, that failed new high in a downtrending market typically leads to a big flush ahead. So we could be looking at a big push into 1300 and perhaps even below it into, say, 1290, which would be the 25% extension from the previous month's low. So right now, this is a big time sell opportunity here. If prices stay below basically 13.25, there's a good potential to see another round of weakness over the next 2 to 3 days. So by tomorrow morning, perhaps by Wednesday, we could be looking at 1300. So this could be an opportunity to get in that wave on the way down. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is XBT, the CBOE Bitcoin futures contract. We've been talking about this contract because it was the first one to come on. It gave us the first major impulse move. And from that move, we were able to identify key targets that would be hit along the way. And how? And right now, we're holding onto a small little range right here after this rejection below 6,700. Actually got as low as 58.80. And what I've been mentioning to traders is that this was a short-term opportunity for price to bounce, but on the bounce here, it's going to be very important to see how it plays out around 10K. If price can't really get back above 10K, there could be another dump coming, and that could take you down to the next key level below, which would be 2100. So this is important right now. It's building energy, clearly, quietly channeling higher. You can see this major LVN right here, right around 9370, 9400. That zone is going to be important, but again, 10K, very significant key level, and any bounce into that zone, any rejection here could be a significant selling opportunity back to the recent lows and also to new lows. So keep an eye on this one as we move forward. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how these play out heading into the new week of trading. Good luck and trade well.